welcome back to my channel. Thank you so very much for watching. Today I have my lovely mother here in the house, Mama Batson, and let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room. I just got a glycolic peel this morning and it has made my face a little red and irritated. Any little spots, anything are kind of being like brought to the surface, and that's okay. So let's just ignore my face today. It'll be back on track tomorrow. But today it's your chance to shine. So this is all about you. So this is perfect. So I'm just gonna hand the reins on over to you, and I would love for you to share, and I really appreciate you being here.
Hey everyone. So I'm excited to be here, and Indy asked me to share my Jesus story with you, and let's go ahead and get started.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So India asked me to share a story with you, and this story happened 26 years ago, and India was 7 weeks old, very tiny baby. What's important to note in this story is that this was the first time ever that I had so much time on my hands. So I'd become an at-home mom. Prior to this, I was a middle school teacher and just busy. So now I'm at home with a newborn, kind of clueless, just trying to figure everything out. Every day was kind of the same. You know, I just put on my sweat clothes and it was all about trying to create a schedule for her. And that was kind of about it for like, you know, the first couple of months. Anyways, I had made a lunch date with my next door neighbor and her twin sister to come over to our house, and I was gonna put cute clothes on and make little chicken croissant sandwiches and have a nice lunch. And this was like a big deal. This was a very big deal because it was just all about feeding, sleeping, diapers, and that was that. So a few days before this, Debbie, my neighbor, had come to the door and said, "What day do you want us to come over?" And I kind of laughed because I'm thinking any day would be fine. They're all the same. I have nothing planned. Nothing is on my
Literally
agenda.
any day, anytime.
So I could have said Monday at 11. I could have said Tuesday at 1. I could have said Wednesday at 11:30. I could have said Thursday. I could have said Friday. I could have said, how about the next week? But I said Tuesday at 12 o'clock. Tuesday, 12 o'clock comes. I'm so excited. They come over. India was quietly sleeping in her little baby swing, so that was good. So we have just such a nice time, and their little ones were in, it was called Mother's Day out, like preschool. And it was about 1 o'clock, and I really wanted to show them her baby nursery. And I had gotten some antique baby clothes from Europe, and I wanted to, you know, just share those. And so we went upstairs. Like I said, we only had about, and they had to pick up their kids. They had to leave at 1:15, so we had about 15 minutes left. We go upstairs, we're in India's baby nursery, and all of a sudden we hear this really loud, erratic, the doorbell ring, ding, 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 like that, but really loud. And it scared all of us. And
It would
it just
terrify me.
Exactly, it wasn't a normal, you know, ding dong. They did it again, ding, 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 ding. We're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to answer that. From where we were upstairs, I could see through, we had like these plantation shutters where you could, if you were upstairs, you could look down by the way I had them tilted and see who was at the door. And so I looked, and they could not see us from the outside. I looked, and there was this guy I didn't know, and he looked really scary. And would you have answered the door? You know, so we decided not to answer the door. And he kept on ringing the bell, and it just really scared us. You know, and again, India's downstairs sleeping, and thank goodness the doorbell ringing did not wake her up.
That's a miracle.
It is. Anywho, we kind of snuck into a guest bedroom that was like looking on the front lawn and street, and he'd gotten back in his car, so we were like, yay, he's leaving. So he gets in his car, but instead of leaving, and his car was on the street, he backed into our driveway. And I'm like, what the heck? And we couldn't see him anymore. And we're like, why is this guy backing into our driveway? And keep in mind, this all happened in, I don't even know, 30 seconds. I mean, it's very quick.
Right.
And so we went to another window to look on the side. And by the time I got there, he had backed his car into our backyard. And we're like, oh my gosh. So at this point we realized, you know, at first you're still like, what? Is this the termite guy? Is this the yard man? Like, what's happening? And so I remember yelling to Debbie, you know, our bedroom was upstairs. I said, go call 911. Back in those days, the phones were attached to the wall. Yeah, that's how old I am. There were no cell phones. Cell phones did not exist when you were born. Isn't that strange?
Super weird.
So weird. So I'm like, go call 911. I'm gonna go downstairs and get India. So I'm like flying down the stairs.
Yeah.
And I go around the corner and I see him in the, like a family room door, which is right beside India's little swing. And it's like a French door, so I could see him. And with bam, one kick, he's in the family room. He did not see me because I then was terrified and hid. I was terrified. I don't know what you would have done. Hindsight, I should have immediately screamed really loudly. That's what I've taught you over the years. But my first instinct was to hide. And so I hid behind this wall in what was like a formal living room kind of room.
And I'm still in the living room.
You're still in your swing. You are still not crying. You didn't make a peep, which is crazy because it was really loud.
Yeah.
Him kicking in the door. I was terrified for you, and I was terrified for Patty and Debbie, and I screamed upstairs, get out of the house. They go flying down the stairs, and at that point he sees all three of us, and he took off. While we were having our cute little lunch, he was next door, broke into their house. They had barely moved in. They were still in boxes, and stole television, music equipment. She had a box of 12-piece, like real silver flatware, her jewelry box. So the police come. I don't even know how to explain. I was just so scared. I was scared of even them. I was like, are these real police officers? Like, I was just terrified in my brain. I could not, in those moments, I just couldn't make heads or tails of what had happened. Of course, I went and got you out of your swing, and I'm holding you the whole time. So I have this newborn baby that it's just still also new to me. So we had to go down to the police station to draw, because we had seen him.
Right.
Through the shades, we had to draw pictures of him so that, the police would know what to look for. And they were so nice.
That's good.
By the way, two guys couldn't have been nicer to me. So as it turned out, he was a burglar who had been doing this for almost a year and hadn't been caught. And he would go to houses that had big lots and no houses right behind them. So he could just pull into your backyard and no one would see him. If you didn't have a fenced in yard, that enabled him to do that. We didn't have a fenced in yard. We had a big lot and we didn't have any houses behind us. It was just wooded. All that to say, I'm just a wreck. And I kind of stayed that way for a while. I felt like a sitting duck. Most people on the street were at work during the day and I'm home. And I wouldn't even take a shower during the day because in my mind, you can't hear if someone's breaking into your house while you're in the shower. I wouldn't bathe you during the day. I didn't want the water running. I mean, it was really just a terrifying time. And I really had to go deep as far as prayer life, scripture reading, different books that I was reading just about when things aren't good. God created this beautiful, amazing world for us to live in, but he gave us free will, so of course there's so much sin in the world. And I had to really go deep in trying to get over being so scared all the time. Months later, fast forward almost a year, my husband and I were on a business trip for him, and it was a couple hours away, and we were just driving in the car. I remember very clearly, I don't recall the title of the book, doesn't even matter, but it was a book written by Dr. Charles Stanley, and I was in the beginning of it when he realized he was called to being a pastor.
Sorry, we had to change lighting. Okay, continue.
So as I said, I'm just reading my book, kind of a typical day. I wasn't thinking about the break-in at this time, too one-track minded to think about two things at one time. So anywho, I'm just reading, and out of nowhere, and it's very hard for me to articulate this because it's not an earthly kind of experience that I had, but just out of the blue, I felt like covered, as if God just covered me with love, just like a loving, warm, not like a blanket. It's very hard to describe, but it was nothing earthly. It was just purely Him covering me is the only way that I know how to say that. And I did not hear an audible voice in the way that I'm talking to you at this moment, but He absolutely impressed words into my mind. And He said, the words that you said on that day, Tuesday at 12 o'clock, I put those words in your mouth. And I could also very strangely feel Him leave. Like I felt this warmth, and in my mind I remember thinking, don't leave, don't leave, don't leave, don't leave, don't leave, because it was a wonderful covering of His love. It's very strange.
I've never experienced that, so it's like it's interesting to hear someone say it, and then
I never had either.
I believe
and haven't
it.
since.
It's
right.
just it's interesting to hear.
It is, and I feel very, very blessed and fortunate to have had this experience because it's never happened again. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And when you think about that, again, going back to the beginning of this story, how easily I could have said Monday at 11:30, Tuesday at 1, but I said Tuesday at 12 o'clock, and at 1 o'clock, that is when that man kicked in the door.
Right.
So I was not alone. I can't even imagine.
Had you been alone?
Had I been alone, how that could have gone down. Because as I said, my instinct is to hide. I could see me hiding in a closet. There you are, a baby, a newborn, in your swing right by the door. I don't know if he has a gun. I don't know if he's gonna open the door and there I am hiding in a closet. I don't know if he's gonna take you.
Right.
It could have been, would have been so much worse. But He put those words in my mouth Tuesday at 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
And of course, I'll never ever forget this. And again, I'm driving in the car. Brian doesn't know this is happening. It was very...
Wait, did you tell Dad?
I did, but I was just like, oh my gosh, like what just happened to me, you know? And so yeah, a few minutes later, I like told him what happened. And then when we got to the...
Really?
Yes.
I've never heard this. I've heard this story many a time, but I haven't heard that. Well, because Dad is such a like, I don't know how to explain it. Like,
super practical.
Yeah, like he believes in God. He's a Christian, but if you were to tell, I don't know, I picture him being like, oh, we need to get some food in you.
No, he wasn't at all. No,
That's
he wasn't at all.
Though. That's good.
He wasn't at all. And so as soon as we got to our destination,
Wow.
I wrote it down.
Oh, that's so good. You never told me that.
And I don't know what I did with it. You know, we moved 2 or 3 times since then, but yeah.
You've got it locked in.
But it is in my head. It is in my head. I'll never, ever, ever forget it. And now it's on camera.
And now.
And my takeaway, there's a few takeaways to this. One, God is omnipresent. So at the moment that he put those words in my mouth, how about Tuesday? Let's say 12 o'clock. Someone else was giving birth and he was with them. Someone else was dying. He was with them and their family. There could have been a hurricane somewhere else. He's omnipresent. So don't be afraid to go to him, talk to him about even the smallest things. And 2, he didn't stop the burglar from coming to my house. He did give us free will. But he protected me completely. At that moment, I had 2 other people in the house with me. And when he heard 3 voices, he took off. And by the way, this was in February. It was like the very first Tuesday in February. And, the grass is kind of yucky and it was misty, rainy that day. And so I had tire prints from him peeling off. He went so fast till spring.
You had the tire tracks.
I had those tire tracks that I had to look at. And I also want to say that when, we talked about what a beautiful world he created, but it's full of sin. Those things are going to happen. Bad things are going to happen. But often, those times are where you really learn the biggest life lessons. It's where you learn the most truth if you will take it to him and pray and grow. Yeah. And if you will let it be, have an attitude of gratitude for what you do have, and then ask him, seek him, what do you want me to learn through this tragic event? And he'll teach you. And by the way, just as information, my life has not always been a bed of roses. India knows I had, some genuinely tough things growing up. Divorced parents, a very bitter divorce, lots of problems in the home. And so I don't want you to take this story as just everything's been rosy and then God spoke to her and that kind of thing, because
that's not your life
story.
That
isn't my life story at all. I just want to kind of add that to our little Jesus story here.
I love it. Okay, well, I just want to say thank you so much to my mom for coming on here and taking time out of her day to do this. So I really, really hope you enjoyed today's video. Truly, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here, taking time out of your day to share this.
You're welcome.
If anyone has any questions, I mean, I'm sure people will say crazy things or whatever. And that's fine.
I'm bracing myself for the comments.
I know. But that's okay. This is her story. And
it's my truth. There's you can't dispute.
It's your truth.
Yes.
So you can share, and that's great. And I'm glad that you took the time out of your day to listen to
this. Yes. Thank you.
So thank you. Yes. And all right, I think that's a wrap. Hopefully in a couple videos I'll be looking good again. All right.
You always look beautiful.
Thanks,
Come on.
All right, until next time, we'll see you soon.